Hello, everybody. This is the PodBrother, and we are 7 minutes and 2 seconds late, but
7:02. But that's what we meant. 7:02 because we in Las Vegas. 7:02.
That's 7:02. Is that what it is?
Yes, it is.
All right.
7:02.
Well, we're here now, and welcome to the PodBrother Show, and we have our special guest again, Michelle Minks.
So, hi guys.
How are you?
I'm good.
I see you got your pirate booty already. You
yes.
sitting there.
I do.
Yes, the pirate booty drink.
Yes. Yeah, it's my new favorite.
It's your new favorite because the boo hooked you up with a nice recipe. It was some pirate booty.
Yeah, I think I'll have to post this one online and share it. It's pretty good.
Nice.
And they're healthy.
Yes.
Well, they're healthier.
Healthier.
To
have everything but the rum is good.
Everything but the rum. But you know what? Rum can be good.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's just a little bit of rum in there.
Rum can definitely be good.
Rum is definitely better when the girl is not as attractive as you. I mean, rum helps. It's really it's healthy for a relationship. You'd be like, get a couple bottles in you, and you're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, you gotta get a couple of drinks going, and your judgment, your decision making is a little bit skewed.
Everything is a little bit better when you're inebriated at first, anyways. Yeah, even your decision making capabilities, they seem better at the time, but actually they're not. But at that moment, they seem better.
I understand what you're trying to say, my brother.
Right. Thank you.
So let's get right into it. We got a couple of guests that's going to be calling in, which is exciting stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited about. You told me about the one guy, and I haven't even told Michelle about that individual.
Yes,
and that's going to be amazing because I know that she is going to find it extremely fascinating.
Yes, Willard Wiggins.
Willard Wiggins.
Yes. Willard Wiggins is this dude, man. First of all, he's an amazing human being. To be honest with you, this cat. He does this super micro sculpture. Like he can take and put like a tiny little. He could sculpt the city of Manhattan on the tip of that battery. He's like a
micro sculpting. Yes,
micro sculpture, and he did some really cool stuff. We're gonna pull it up later, but we're gonna have him in the show. He's gonna call in around 6:30. So it's 2:30 in the morning his time. So he's actually staying up and waiting for us to call.
Wow.
So
that's what I'm talking about.
That's
awesome. A very cool thing.
Yeah, but I mean, just to be able to, do all that.
I'm excited to hear how he does it.
Yes, he's I don't want to give too much away, but
okay.
He's probably the only.
Do you already know the secret?
No, because there's only one human that can do it, and that's him. We exclusive over here. The PodBrother Nation always got the new sensations and people like that.
But but before we get into Willard Wiggins, we got Michelle Minks.
That's right.
Because she's always make sure. There we go.
Yeah.
Why, thank you.
She's such a cutie pie. Now we had you on yesterday, and that was a lot of fun. And we saw your music video, and man, you were so hot in that, and your body is just perfect. Tell us about how you train. Walk us through a training regimen that you go through to make your professional bikini model body, because it is on point.
Yeah.
So walk us through that.
All right. Well, it's pretty much a full-time job in itself, honestly. It's like a whole lifestyle. I love being in the gym. My mom's had me in the gym since I was 12 years old. I got my first membership at Gold's. And that part actually comes pretty easy for me, but the real challenge is the diet. So until you've probably lived with me, you have no idea kind of what the regimen is like daily. preparing 7 meals a day, eat every 2.5 hours, have my food scale. I'm measuring things out, the right amount of protein, the right amount of carbs, the right amount of fat for every meal. So it's like I would say probably close to 80% diet when you're actually trying to kind of shape your physique how you want it. So people think I don't eat very often probably, but that's all I do when I'm around. Everybody's like, you're always eating.
All she does. Everyone, because I take her to photo shoots and stuff, and it's like most of the time we're late because of she has to prepare something, or she's like,
I walk around with all my food prepared in little Ziploc containers and Ziploc baggies, and you get really good at eating like fish and broccoli out of a Ziploc bag while you're driving down the road.
Nice.
And Kimbrough, like she said, being like her one of her managers and stuff, and like the dedication, because while she's eating that, I'm eating, some ribs and stuff like that, and I'm feeling for her. Like sometimes I don't want to eat in front of her, because I'm eating all this stuff with, that has flavor and stuff, and she's eating.
I feel like this little, like a puppy dog, like sitting under the table at dinner time, looking up at you with the big eyes, just dreaming.
Right, so she, like it takes a lot of dedication. I applaud her every day, she's even, when you're around it, like even now lately, I've been probably eating less of the things that I shouldn't be eating and stuff. So
you're like a bad culinary influence on her.
Oh my God, I'm horrible.
Well, that shows that you're human. I mean, it's like it's an example for every woman out there who wants a body like yours. It takes a little bit of discipline and a little bit of work, and yes, you have temptations too, even though you're the perfect bikini model.
Thank you. Yes, my kryptonite is ice cream.
Every now and then you can hear that refrigerator open. You'll be like coming from another room, and you hear the refrigerator open, and it's her just looking at the ice cream.
Just looking at it. Yeah. It helps.
Yes.
Just a dream. Gotta have a dream.
And you know what? The ice cream is looking at you too, going, "I want to be in that body." Put me in your body.
Get in my belly.
Get in my belly. Yeah. Well, it takes a lot of discipline to do what you do. And now your workout, tell us how you work out? Do you work on body parts certain times of the week?
I try to change it up. Like at least every 6 weeks or so, I change what I'm doing. So, like my training split right now, for example, is a 3-day split. So, yesterday I did back and biceps together, and then today I did shoulders and triceps, and then tomorrow is glutes and legs, which is my favorite day to train. And then you start all over again. So, that goes on. A lot of times 7 days a week. 6 days is good, but I try to just get it in every day I can, because some days when I have photo shoots or traveling or whatever, then I use those for my days off. So I like to wake up and get it done first thing in the morning and feel good about it,
Now I know you're looking to launch a new fitness line and kind of rebuild your fitness brand. What are some of your ambitions? What can you tell us about your strategy on your fitness merchandise and branding and stuff that you want to do there?
Well, I really just want to bring products to women specifically. Everything I'm doing is designed for women, by a woman. That they're all designed by me. I'm a biochemist, and I just want to bring products that can help. It's like you said, it takes hard work no matter what. You have to put in the work on the diet and the training, the exercise, and all that. But, I want to bring products that kind of give you that extra little edge. Mm-hmm. Just like a mild fat burner. The fat burner is already designed and done. It's a fat burner. It's a thermogenic. Gives you a little boost in energy, a boost in mood. That's a big thing for us. Is a good mood boost really helps you get to the gym. When you're feeling happy, you want to go to the gym. You want to go work out, and it just helps you throughout your entire day. So I love the fat burner. Gonna have the protein, which is delicious. It helps with cravings because I have cravings constantly, especially, like I said, ice cream and sweet stuff. So, we crave things all the time. So I wanted to bring a protein that's like a dessert. And then the third one that I'm going to bring out initially is going to be the fat cream. So it's actually like a spot reducing cream. So that one you rub on all the spots you don't like. So, if you want to throw it in the bathtub and jump in, you can do that too. But,
rub a little cream on it.
Yeah, but just to give you a little extra edge because it is a lot of hard work. So just want to bring something that's easy, if, like a lifestyle kind of brand, something you can do every day just to kind of help. So
you have a regiment of when you eat too to kind of keep your metabolism kind of high. What's your eating schedule? Because I know it's a lot about diet, but it's also a lot about when you eat that diet.
Exactly. I try to stay on schedule as much as I can. Every 2.5 hours, I'm eating a meal. I try not to miss it by more than 15 minutes. And everybody around me helps me with that because if you've been around me when, I'm more than, say, 15 or 30 minutes past the meal time, you want to feed me because I call it what I get is hangry.
Yes, she is hungry.
I'm so hungry that I'm angry. So everybody around me really kind of helps, to try to keep me on schedule because they want me to eat too. So I'm happy.
Right.
You have your own vocabulary of like words that you fuse together, like biokini and hangry.
I told you she's like E40. You know what I'm saying? Like she's like a new E40.
She's gonna. I got a feeling that you're gonna have your own like Minks Minion vocabulary, and you'll be the only one know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like our own little club or something.
I like that.
Our own language.
All right. Well, those 2 words I'm putting in, I'm going to add to my vocabulary. To the
I'm sending them to
vocabulary.
E40 and see if we put them in the the dictionary. We got a whole
hangry and bikini.
Webster dictionary. It's a ghetto dictionary and stuff. Ebonics. We're going to officially put that in the Ebonics.
So, so what's going on for you this week? You got anybody you want to shout out? Anything that's cool out there? Any events? Anybody you want to talk to? What do we got going for Michelle Minks this week?
Well, as far as like who I want to talk to, I know we can kind of interact live on here on the podcast. So I put out a post on my social media on Facebook pages to hear back from my fans. If they want to call in, or I guess the ways they can get in touch with us now live on the show is through the comments on YouTube channel. They can Skype to PodBrother, and they can
also FaceTime to PodBrother.
Yes.
Damn, you got everything hooked up.
Yeah. Or they can just do a regular call-in.
Or they can call just
310-990-7608. You can just call in, and we can just pipe you right in. That's not a problemo.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what I've done recently has been through social media, so I couldn't have done it without the support of everybody out there. And they're, no matter what I do, they always seem to be there, and they're the best fans. And I like to try to stay in touch with them and get to know everybody, as much as possible. So I'd love to talk to you guys. Call in, talk to me, ask me questions, tell me what's up with you. Just want to get to know everybody.
I want to give a shout out to Pepe.
Yes, Pepe, my dark angel.
Yes, because he's always putting in a lot of work, and it's building a brand like Michelle. I'm very blessed to be a part of it. In Drew Green and Super Beast Management. We're just just glad to see how everything's just coming together like some butt cheeks. It's just, everything's just coming together.
We like butt cheeks.
Yes, we love butt cheeks. The glutes.
We like when it comes together like butt cheeks.
Yes.
All right. Well, the special guest that we're going to have on is very, very fascinating, interesting cat, Willard Wiggins.
Oh my God, this guy's fantastic.
And he is amazing. He's involved in doing this micro sculpture, and we get to pick his brain today. Michelle, if you have any questions for him, I'm sure he might have a few questions for you, but we might be able to get him to do a Michelle Minks micro sculpture.
Oh my God, that would be awesome.
How cool would that be? So let's call him up and see if he's good to go. So.
Where's he at? He's in England?
Yes, he's lives in the UK, but he travels the world doing his sculpture, and he's going to be in New York in September. And oop, that's a little loud. Sorry about that.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Willard Wiggins. How are you?
Yeah. Kimbrough, how are you?
I'm good, man. It's we are live on the air. We're doing our third YouTube live PodBrother podcast show, and our special guest today is Michelle Minks, and you are our special call-in guest, and we really want to make it about you and Michelle today because you're two people that are of undeniable influence, and that's what I'm about. The PodBrother. It's about hanging and kicking it with people that are undeniably influential in our world and our culture. And Michelle Minks is a professional bikini model. She's also a biochemist. So she's an expert in biokini, if you will.
Biokini chemistry.
And you are the world-renowned world record holder, Guinness Book of World Records for the smallest sculpture in the world, and I wanted to have you on the show and kind of highlight what you do and what you're about and where you're going and where you've been and where you're at now. So
that sounds good.
So how you feel? First of all, what time is it in the UK right now? So our fans know, like
2 o'clock in the morning.
2 o'clock in the morning. Wow. We got you out of bed. I'm honored. I've been flattered that you answered the phone at 2 o'clock in the morning to talk with the PodBrother.
1 second, I'll tell you the right time. It's 2:30.
2:30?
2:30 in the morning. It's no problem. No, I'm ready for this because it's okay.
Okay.
Comes natural for me to talk about what I do.
So let's start with how you even came up with doing micro sculptures. Let's start there. Like, how did you even get into this game?
Well, when I first started doing it, didn't feel like I was doing it. It was just like a kind of a hobby. I was doing it to rescue and support ants because what happened, we used to have a little dog, and the dog took a hole in the ground, and all these ants came out of the ground, and I realized the dog had destroyed the ants there. So automatically, me being the kid that I was, because school was difficult for me anyway, because I wasn't, I wasn't welcome, I didn't feel that I was invited because of the way I was treated. My teachers used to tell me I was illiterate.
So you were kind of like the odd kid out. You were kind of like the picked on kid in school, and kind of like a little bit isolated. Yeah.
So they kind of it isolated me away from everybody. Really, I just felt as though that it's like my body was there, my mind wasn't, so I had to get away. But when I did decide to run away, it was it's like freedom, I suppose. because I was running away quite regular because it was the only way I could get my body away from school. You know? And when I discovered I had this talent, it was just a release of sort of energy, or you know, I suppose it's like breath of fresh air. You breathe in and then you can breathe again, you know. But with me, when I realized that these ants were homeless at the time, because I lived in a fancy world. Because what happens when you have a learning difference, which I have, you know, if you can't read or write very well, you seem to find yourself imagining things and living in worlds that you believe your own, you know, imagination. So I was always thinking that ants were like humans anyway. I used to think they could talk and stuff like that. So what made me decide to rescue these ants? As soon as I saw that the houses, these ants were sort of disturbed, I kept thinking all the houses are damaged and the ants are homeless and all types of stuff would go through my mind. So what I did, I got my dad's razor blade and I picked up some splinters of wood, and then I started slicing these splinters of wood and building, constructing houses for ants. You know, it was I think it was just a way of sort of helping the ants. Like I said, I was just thinking the ants are going to be happy, they're going to have somewhere to live, and things are going to get better for them. So it just took me to this different world, you know.
So how did you go from, like, as a hobbyist, you know, making homes for ants, to making this into a living? Like, what was the first project that transpired that allowed you to go from, you know, just hanging out, you know, being solitude, creating homes for the ants, to, you know what, I'm gonna make a micro sculpture and sell it for like thousands of dollars? Like, when did that happen?
That happened as gradually, you know, it evolved into that. The transition came when I was about, I suppose, in my 20s, you know. I was sort of making these sculptures because I was encouraged by my mother. Because when my mother found out that I'd run away from school, you know, she gave me a good idea. Well, she attempted to until she saw what I did. And when she saw what I'd made for these ants, you know, she looked and stopped suddenly and realized that I'd created these little sculptures for ants. And the first thing she said was, you know, the smaller you make them, the bigger your name will become. And then she gave me a hug and she looked at the work and she sort of picked up one of the small houses which I'd made on the end of her finger. And, you know, she couldn't really speak because she was that amazed by what she saw. And then she told me I was really good at what I did. And then I felt I suppose a bit of praise, really. If you tell a kid at age 5 that they're good at something, sometimes that little bit of encouragement drives them on, you know, and it gives you that ability to become somebody, you know. It gives you that confidence. I suppose it's like you tell them enough times and you believe it. I believe what she told me, and from there, as I got older, I continued, and when I reached about 28, you know, things changed. Because I was always making these sculptures without telling anybody. I was always making shapes and making, like, little people out of cocktail sticks. I used to pick up a cocktail stick and carve a little head or a horse or a dog, or, you know, and I was always doing it. And every time I showed my mom, she was telling me that it was too big. I should go smaller, you know. She said the smaller it is, the bigger I'll become, you know, and it just, the transition started, and that's when I believed what I had, and my sisters and brothers seen it, and they told me I was good, and, you know, and it was like this sort of surge of energy. It's like this lightning strike, you know, and then you become this special human being. So when I was about, like I said, 28, 29, things changed, because I decided that I wanted to sort of share what I had. So I started showing people what I did.
Was
I had a lot
that
of disbelief? People started to disbelieve it. They were saying, "Oh wow, look at that!" You know, I'd come like some children playing Ringo Roses on a toothpick, on the point of a toothpick. You know.
Was that when you went under the microscope? When was the first time you went under the microscope? Was that this time, or were you just doing the naked eye, small as you can at that time?
It was all the naked eye. You know, I was doing stuff. You know, to sort of move the story along a little bit. I was working with a naked eye. So, for me to tell you the whole story, we're going to be here a long time, but I'm going to get as much in as I possibly can. When I was 15, no, I was about 14. Yeah, I took a microscope from school because I wasn't welcome at school anyway. I didn't feel welcome because obviously I wanted to see if I could learn something, but I had no way of expressing myself academically. So one day I was in a science lesson, and one of the science teachers, how a caterpillar turns into a butterfly, and I was told that my brain is smaller than a caterpillar's brain, so I decided to get a bit, well, I just got angry because it was just a humiliation.
It's an insult. That's an insult.
So I took a microscope from the school, you know. It was I suppose it was a release of anger because I saw this microscope on the table and I just thought, I'm going to take that. So I planned, waited for all the kids to go outside and sort of, you know, they normally have recreation at school. So
yeah, but you didn't take it to sell it for, you know, money or for drugs, or you took it to learn something. So I mean,
yeah, it was. I knew that I needed it because obviously, you know, because my work was getting smaller. I was making stuff smaller. I knew that I'd have to, you know, sort of help my vision by using this microscope. So that's why I took the microscope. I felt as though I didn't feel as though I was stealing it. I felt as though I was borrowing it. You know what I mean? but it was just something that I did. It was like natural. It came natural to me. I just thought, hey, I need this microscope, so I'm going to take it.
You know, more kids should borrow books from schools to learn something. You know, they should just borrow stuff to learn something from school. That wouldn't be a bad thing, I don't think.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, I wouldn't advise any kid to do what I did, and it's not the right thing to steal. But with me, I didn't see it that way because having the condition that I have, which is a learning difference, you think different. Your brain starts to think different. You know, you're not doing it deliberately. You do things on instinct. It's just a natural thing. So when I took this microscope, you know, the door started to open wider for me. You know, it's like, I suppose, got to open the door and nobody could close the door afterwards because that's when I realized then that I had this real gift. I suppose I started to understand what I had because this is where, you know, Willard Wiggin was born, you know.
Yeah.
I became the world's greatest micro artist because I started seeing things in a different way. I could look on a molecular level. I could see things. I could see all the details.
How was it being?
When I showed my mother what I had, I said to the man up the road that gave me this microscope, and she just looked at me and said, "Well, that's good." Tell him thanks. You know, whereabout is it? You know, and I said, I don't know where it is. He just gave me this microscope. Said he didn't want it. So from there, my mother said to me, just make them smaller, go and, you know, concentrate. You know, even though it's 2:30 in the morning, I'm half asleep because I've been working. I've been working just before this film call. So
how did you get?
I'm a little bit drowsy.
How did you get your first commission to do? Is it Buckingham Palace that you did for the royal family? How did that come across? How did that come about?
Well, what happened? You know, I was working in the centre of Birmingham one day. My mother told me that if I should start to show the world what I had. So I listened to my mother and I honored her words. I decided that I wanted to let people know what I could do. So I went to the shop and I bought some tools in the shop, wood carving tools, and there was a block of wood on the bench. So I asked the guy in the shop, I said to him, is it possible that I could, work in your shop? I said, do a carving of something. Because you got this piece of wood and you got all these tools, is it a possibility that you could allow me to use the bench? And then he says, well, I don't know what you do. I said, well, I can carve something in that piece of wood. And I said, what he would do, it would, bring a lot of people into the shop, cause a lot of interaction. People would want to know about, how these tools can be used to carve, because they were wood carving tools. So in the end, he let me do it. So I started to carve away. He just allowed me to sit there and carve something, which I did in front of in the shop window. And then people started to come to the shop, and I was looking at this big piece of wood, because what it was basically, because I could do something small, something big became easy. So the small challenge, was the big challenge. The big one became the small challenge. So he allowed me to do it, like I said, and I started chipping away. And I decided to do a carving of William Shakespeare on this piece of wood. And before I knew it, I had a lot of people turning up to the shop and taking pictures and coming in and saying, wow, this is great, How are you carving it so amazing without any photographs? Because I already had the gift to do it, because I had a photographic memory of people's faces. I could sort of just create them naturally. Then from there, it all changed. The door opened wide, because then a guy came from the newspapers to do a little story on me, and then started getting people coming in and commissioning me to do, wood carvings and stuff. So it all changed from there. But the small stuff, I showed them that a bit later. So what happened, I started doing big stuff. And then one day, like I said, this journalist came in and asked me a question. He said, how did you start doing this? This is amazing, And I said, well, I started doing small stuff first. And I showed him one of the sculptures which I made out of toothpick. So what I'd done, I'd already carved the head of Shakespeare. Like I said, I had this big piece. And I showed him the small head of Shakespeare, which I'd carved on the head of a toothpick. And then from there, that was it. Everything just changed for me.
Wow. Interesting. And then from there, they saw that work, and then they, then you started rolling into doing stuff, like the palace, and then, I see we have the crown up on the screen now. Tell us what.
Yeah, well, what actually happened after that? That I went out in a few newspapers. I got a lot of publicity. People started to find out. Those aware of what I did, and then before I knew it, people were just ringing up and saying, well, we need to see this guy. And then after that, I was on TV,
Nice.
I was interviewed by a guy called Johnny Vaughan, which was a program. It was called The Big Breakfast Show. And they wanted to know about this amazing artist who was creating these small sculptures, which is myself. And I was on this program. And then before I knew it, I had calls from everywhere. And people wanted to invest money in me, commission me to do different types of stuff for them. I was commissioned to do a sculpture of this girl. And it was a... yeah, that's right. There was this girl sitting on a chair, and her father asked me not to carve her sitting in this position on a chair. So I did it. And then, from there, I was earning a living, and just things started to change. And my name started to get bigger. Then I had a company from Jersey called Ultimate Art in the UK, and they decided to invest a lot of money in me, and they wanted to sort of see a lot of my stuff. I started to show them all the small stuff which I was doing. I kept it kind of dormant until that time when I was on the program, because that's when I started to show them the real small stuff.
Nice. I have
What
Michelle.
was the one that done it for me? Was the camel in the eye of the needle.
I have. Let me go while I pull that up. Michelle Minks is with us. She might have a couple questions for you. Michelle, you have any questions
well,
for?
I actually
Will?
have a couple of listeners are asking some questions for him. Gary Sawyer is asking what materials you use that allow you for such small, stable sculptures. I mean, are you still doing everything out of wood, or what are you using?
I didn't quite pick that up.
Her question was, some of her fans are chatting in, and they want to know what are some of the tools or some of the materials that you use to do the sculpt. You know, some of the tools and some of the materials.
Yeah, well, what I do now, things have changed a little bit now because I've evolved and I've got better. My tools are now made of broken shards of diamond. I'm starting to wake up a little bit now because I was half asleep. All the way through this interview, I was half asleep, so...
I know, we got you at 2:30 in the morning, so we understand.
Yeah, I'm waking myself up. So, you know, I'm going to have to apologize to a lot of the listeners because I'm just half asleep, but I just wanted to, you know, give as much of my story to you as possible. My tools and the medium was made out of my tools are made out of made out of broken shards of diamond. I also sharpened pearl drills at the end. I polished them down. So some of the tools look like little bee stings, you know, but they've got little hooks on the end with little blades. But they're all microscopically precisionally made. I use this little grinding with my jeweler's drill. It's not polished these pearl drills, and they just sharpen, so they look like little hooks. Then I also do actually cut the gold or whatever the material that I'm going to cut, a Kevlar, or I'm going to carve a grain of sand. I'll use a microscopic shard of diamond, which looks like a little chisel, which is inserted into the end of the string. So you see this really unbelievably sharp tool.
Wow.
What I normally do, I hold the material in my left hand with a little hook. And the other tool which I use, I have to chip away with it in my right hand. And then I start to cut very, very gently. And I start to release little fragments of this material to start to form a shape, which is very painstaking because I have to hold my breath, work between my heartbeats. It's like forming microsurgery, you know, or much harder than microsurgery. Very painstaking, and the whole process is quite punishing because I have to sit for a long time. You know, it can take anything up to 5 weeks, 4.5 weeks to complete one. I have to work between my heartbeats to do it. So the whole thing is like a nightmare, but then it's a dream when you're finished. So when you're working on a molecular level, you know, everything can be detrimental to every single move. So I have to control my breathing, I have to control everything. You know, so I have to almost be a dead man working. I have to be so steady. So there's always little problems. You know, you can actually breathe and inhale your own work if you're not careful. Or if one slip of the tool, you know, and you can catch just the edge of what you're carving, it'll just jump and disappear. So it can become quite depressing when you're doing it, but it's also disciplining at the same time. So you're learning a lot of discipline, and it's teaching you. It teaches a lot about life, you know, because the reason why patience is the virtue, you know, and I believe that if anybody wants to become successful in life, you have to be patient, you know, and you have to really believe in yourself. And this is what it is. It's more than it is. It has a big message, and my work is a message. It's letting people realize that, you know, you can say everything and mean nothing, and say a few words and mean everything. So my lesson became so much more that, you know, I was invited to the palace because of what I do. You know, my exhibitions drew a lot of interest throughout the whole world. You know, wanted to know about this work. I wanted to know how small these sculptures were. You know, in the eye of the needle, I did things like Henry VIII and his 6 wives, perfectly proportioned, evolution of man. You know, the Taj Mahal on a pinhead. I've done stuff like the Madaga's teapot in the eye of the needle with all the perfect detail. You know, the tablecloth with all the cutlery. I'm talking some of the stuff 25 microns, which is like 4 times smaller than a period stuff in a newspaper. You know, my skills got better. I believed in what my mother said. My mother said, the more than I work, the bigger my name is. You know, my life was transformed because of this microscopic work. You know, it made scientists and professors, biologists, people in the medical profession and people in nanotechnology. How can somebody make something so detailed? How can this be done? But then I realized, you know, that it was determination. Sort of it became as a defense, a compensation. I was proving to me, to myself, that I could, that there was an end, you know, to this torture of not being able to read or write very well.
Now we have
learning it affects you that way.
We have a clip of you on the Conan O'Brien show, and we really would like to play that. So do you mind holding for a few minutes, and we can run that Conan O'Brien clip, and then we'll come back to you after we do this clip.
It's up and rest a little bit and wake up a little bit.
Yeah, Michelle, did you have a question while I go to this clip for?
No, I think that's it for right now. I'm just over here trying to wrap my mind around this. It's hard to even fathom how small this is he's talking about.
Yep. All right, so we're going to go to, you're on the Conan O'Brien. Let me set this up for everybody. You're on the Conan O'Brien show as a guest, and there's a microscope there, and it's hooked onto a camera, and Conan is interviewing you. So we'll be right back with you, so hold on one second, Willard. We're going to run this clip.
Okay.
Your scope.
Correct.
And
Correct.
These are very accurate sculptures and depictions that you've done. Let's give people, we'll start off with we have some photographs. We'll start with those, and then we'll look at some that are live. This is 9 camels in the eye of a needle that you sculpted. We have here a girl, next is a girl with a balloon. That is an eyelash. That's a human eyelash?
No, it's actually smaller than that. It's a fiber off my shirt.
That's a tiny fiber, and you created that girl with the balloon. You also do famous people. This is John Lennon in the eye of a needle.
That's correct.
And you did a famous, iconic boxing match, Cassius Clay versus Sonny Liston. That's to show you the scale. That's a match head. And that is how tiny this work of art is. Let me ask you a second. First question everybody has is, how do you do this? What tools do you use, and what are these things made of?
The tools they vary. So I have all different types of tools. Some of them are made from broken shards of diamond, which I smash up. So I've got like a little anvil, a little hammer, hit it, and all the little diamond fragments break off into little splinters.
Yeah.
And what I do, I sort through all the little splinters, and I use one of them. So I've got a little piece of wire, drilled a hole in the end with the finest drill you can get. But the drill wasn't fine enough, so I had to make my own drill and drill a little hole into the wire, then insert this little piece of diamond in. It looked like a little bee sting. And what I do, I work between my heartbeat, I hold my breath, slow down my breathing, and then I use my pulse as a jackhammer.
Let me understand this, please. Mr. MacGyver, you slow your heartbeat down, and then you're using such a fine hand that your actual pulse is creating the motion that chisels the material that you're working with.
But sometimes I have to work between the heartbeats, so when the heart stops, then I move, so I have 1.5 seconds to move between it. It becomes a nightmare.
What? Why are you doing this? I mean, that's the other thing. Is it really, do you enjoy doing this?
No.
This is unbelievable to me. You don't enjoy it. It's extremely difficult.
I'll tell you what it is. It's a nightmare when I start and a dream when I finish. So I have to look at the dream before I finish.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on, because I am fascinated. I want to see let's see some actual samples that you have brought. And let's look at the first one right now. I think this is in keeping with the theme today. We're having a presidential election in this country. You will put this under the microscope. Oh, look at that!
There it is.
That is the head of a
pin.
Of a pin, and that is the White House.
The White House, yeah.
That is
and if you look on your right-hand side, you'll see the president.
What? Where's the president? Why wasn't this impressive enough? Why did you then have to put the president in there? And who can tell? Why can't you just tell people all kinds of stuff are in there? Why can't you just start saying, oh, and the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are riding through the dining room? Can't you see it?
Well, to give you an idea how small that is smaller than a period stop in a newspaper.
Right.
Yeah.
And what is it made of, the White House?
It's made of a piece of nylon tag, which is like Kevlar stuff.
Yeah.
It's like a zip tie that you tie you know, bags with and stuff. It's like a very tough material.
Okay, let me ask you a question, because I am looking at the pin, and it just looks like a regular pin.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see that there's anything even on the top of it. It's absolutely incredible that you made this. Do you use a microscope when you do it?
Yeah, I have to, because it's so
right.
small. It's just keeping your hand still and working between the heartbeat and making sure you don't inhale your own work.
What do you mean? You inhale your work sometimes?
Yes, it does happen.
Wait a minute. You have spent you could spend weeks making a White House, and then suddenly you just have a little sniffle, and it's in your lungs.
Well. Well, with this one, my antibodies refuse to inhale this one.
That's right. You're clearly
have it back.
You're from across the pond, but if it were Parliament, you'd accept it immediately. Yeah. All right.
That's funny.
Wow.
Okay, Willard, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm walking up a little bit better now. I decided to put a little bit of water on my face, which has helped me. I hadn't had to feed for a long time because of this work, as you know. So I'm now feeling a little bit better now, so I'm now awake a little bit fresh.
So we just saw that clip with you and Conan, and it was very, very funny. You're really good on TV. You're really good. You're funny, you're charismatic, and you look good, you sound good, you got good timing.
Thank you.
How do you feel about doing more TV? I mean, do you think there's...
Well, you see, what it is, I mean, as I go along, you know, I start to learn that the delivery seems to get better, and I like to, you know, sort of express myself and sort of put myself across the way I need to, because people need to know all about me and how I do the work. And when you work on a molecular level, so small, it's sometimes very hard to find the words to explain how you make these things, because it becomes natural to you. And when you're age, you know, 5, and you're doing something like that, you don't see it as a gift until somebody tells you that you have a gift. And I suppose, you know, through time, you know, you start to understand what you have, and then that's when you want to share it with the world, you know. And this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to inspire. You know, it's an inspiration. It's a message. You know, like it lets people realize that everything starts small. You work your way up. You know, it's like climbing a ladder. You know, from the bottom all the way to the top. You know, it starts small, and this is what happened. You know, my mother told me that nobody can close the door that God opens. God opened this door for me. You know, and this is what it is. And I believe that I was given a gift from God. God gave me this gift. You know, as small as my work is, it has the biggest message in the world. And that's what makes me who I am today. That's why now, you know, the Queen of England has honoured me with a medal, which is an MBE, one of the highest awards you can receive, because of my work and the services to art. And you know, it's a great honour, and I feel very privileged to realise that, you know, I come from this background, not being able to read or write or express myself, having a problem academically, having this learning difference, which has been quite miserable for me because it affects me, you know, department sometimes, you know, because of the traumatism that it gave me. My teacher told me I was illiterate, and I was told that I was going to empty bins when I left school. So throughout my whole life, it tortured me. I was tortured. You know, it affected everything. It affected my speech. It affected everything. I just felt I was an empty glass. I was a bucket with nothing inside, just totally empty. You know, it was I felt I had no purpose until I was encouraged by this work. My mother told me, people told me I was really good at what I did, and I believed it. So this drove me on to get smaller and get more detailed. So now I know who I am because of it. And when you're making something so small that cannot be seen, it can only be seen through a microscope, which can go to 120 times to 200 times magnification. And then when you focus it through the microscope and you see the detail, it engages people into this disbelief, because what it does, it transforms them into a different world. It puts a different perspective on the way they see things, because they're seeing this microscopic artwork with so much detail, which has been created by a human being and not no machine, because no machine can do what I do the way I do it. You know, you have nanotechnology, yes, but they build in layers. It's a machine. You know, what I've done now is I'm making stuff like 4 or 5 microns inside a human hair, a motorbike, which is made from 24 karat gold, which is built and made of about 25 parts, sculpted and created by man. And, you know, it's this mysticism and this fascination of how can a human being keep so still to do it. And I really do believe that if you have, you know, what anybody really wants to do within reason, they can achieve it, you know. And that's why the Queen of England wrote me 2 or 3 letters thanking me for a crown which I made for her, which I was commissioned to do for a Diamond Jubilee. I had an anonymous person rang me up and asked me if I could create a crown for the Queen, which I did for a Diamond Jubilee. And now it's in a private study in Buckingham Palace. I was invited to go to the palace to deliver this crown, and members of staff came to see this crown on the head of a pin, and they couldn't even speak. I was like, oh, this is beyond belief. How can this be done? And you know, when you get people that are very reserved going, wow, this is beyond belief. Our expression is different to the way it is in the States. You know, if they see something and they should say, good grief, how come? You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, I have on the screen right now, I have your, obviously we have the volume down on it, but I have the your TED speech. And we want to have you back, and we want to go into a few more of your stories. We're kind of running short on time right now, but before we let you go, tell us a little bit about how you were able to be a keynote speaker at the TED conference. And
well, what happened? Sorry, Kimbrough. Sorry. What actually happened? I did a few exhibitions in London, quite a few stuff was sort of exhibited in London. I had loads of people turn up to this exhibition. It's called the My Little Eye Gallery, and people turning up to see this work. And what had actually happened, I had an invitation to go to America, which I did. I did a tour of California. Then I went from California to New York, from New York to Chicago, Texas, from there to Miami, and you know, I started to tour, you know, showing people my stuff. And somebody from the TED organization found out about me, because TED is an organization for all real talented and amazing people that can do things that make a big difference in the world, you know. So they invited me to come along and do a speech, and you know, the speech engagement, talk about what I do, you know, get my message out there. And it was a great experience for me, because I was a bit nervous because there's so many people looking at me on the stage, you know. But it came pretty natural for me, because I had a screen and I could actually talk about each individual piece of work. And it just opened a bigger door for me, and it changed my life, transformed my life, which added to what I already had, and it just made my name even bigger. So TED was a real big stepping stone for me.
That's awesome. Well, I thank you for wiping the sleep out of your eyes and sharing with us some intimate parts of your life.
I'm sorry, Kimbrough. I'm so sorry. It was very difficult for me to do this because I'm so tired. I'm shattered.
Yeah,
Absolutely
no problem.
shattered.
We'll do another show.
So I hope I got as much as the message.
We'll do a show when it's daytime, your time, so you're fresh and you're up, and it'll be 2 o'clock.
Yeah, I'll make sure I get loads of sleep because I feel like a zombie right now. I'm just, I did my best.
You're a fascinating person. You're definitely a person of undeniable influence, and it was an honor and a pleasure to have you on the PodBrother show and share some time with Michelle Minks with what she's doing. And
well, thank you so much for coming and talking to
Michelle,
us. I'm always fascinated
it's a pleasure to have met you.
Thank you.
Hear you, sorry. And hopefully we shall meet in the flesh and meet me when I'm awake.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
And whatever you do, Michelle, listen, always believe like that. Nobody can beat you at what you do. Just become the best. If you program that into your head that you're the best, you'll become it. And God will bless you, Nobody can curse what God has blessed. And you'll become what you want to become. And I would say this to everybody, every human being, all ages. Believe in yourself, and you'll become somebody.
Well, thank you for those encouraging words. We appreciate it. We'll definitely have you back. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Willard Wiggins, world-renowned Guinness Book of World Records for the world's smallest sculpture. And, maybe one day we can talk you into doing a Michelle Minks micro sculpture, bikini sculpture. You don't have any bikini sculptures. I haven't seen them in your library yet.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Anything that interests me, I can do that. I'll do that.
That would be amazing.
No problem.
All right, enjoy yourself. We'll talk soon, buddy, and I will see you in New York in September.
Okay. God bless Kimbrough.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Yo.
Wow.
Hey, man, that dude's a beast, man.
Man, is he a beast or
man,
what?
That dude's a beast. People don't understand the significance of what that man is slowing down his heartbeat.
And using shards of diamond to
carve a grain of sand.
A grain
of sand.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
I'm just like in awe of this dude, and then he has a learning disability. That's what he said, and so basically he doesn't read or write. Is that true?
Yeah, that's it. He has a learning disability, and he's challenged in school, and he hasn't been able to, overcome that challenge with learning how to read and write. So he channeled his gift from God in a completely different direction.
But all right, now, super beast. This is how much of a beast this man is, right? That was really the TED thing that he was speaking at, and educate the people what TED is. Like, a lot of people don't know what TED is.
TED is basically, it's a convention for the top movers and shakers of the world, people who invent stuff like the internet and automobiles and planes and software and just things that are completely and totally innovative, that totally changes the culture of the world with their invention. They're major CEOs, they're doctors, they're politicians. The keynote speakers are like, President Clinton and Branson from Virgin.
Yeah.
People like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. These are the people who get the honor to be a keynote speaker at TED. So to have the complete, body of board members for the TED convention ask Willard Wiggins to speak, that is a huge, huge honor. All those people in the audience are all billionaires, millionaires, inventors, CEOs, politicians, people who literally make changes in the world. So he's one of those guys, and
That's
that
big.
conference is it's huge. To have it once a year, and it's amazing.
And they've asked him to come back. Like
He's going back. Yeah, he'll
they people go there and then that's like they do that one time and that's like their pit. They didn't ask this man to come back. You know what I'm saying? This is like.
Also, I'm always fascinated to see the different ways that people see the world. Everybody sees the world differently through their eyes, and the way he sees it is fascinating to people.
Man, I'm fascinated because I was looking at that pen and like when they said that the man searches through diamond dust to go find the right shard of diamond that he can cut with, he's a beast in my book.
Yeah, he's no joke. He's the real deal Holyfield.
The patience, like I don't even have the patience to wait for the microwave to count all the way down to 0. My food, to sit there for that long and do that.
Right.
Yeah, and if you look at the screen, he uses hairs off of the backs of bugs to paint, the different colors.
That's
on
what
the
I was wondering. You can't have a whole paintbrush. It's got to be one hair.
Right. But the hair the hair of a fly.
Yeah. A human hair is too big.
Yeah. Well, that's what he's using to paint with. And he has to slow down his heartbeat. And some strokes are because of the heartbeat and some are in between heartbeats. That's what it was a beast. Yeah. He needs his own karate studio or something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? He's like David Carradine, but just in a whole different manner.
Right. But I think it would be cool. I mean, once he meets you, Michelle, I really think we can talk him into doing a Michelle Minks micro sculpture, and I can see that on the cover of a magazine. I can see
there's some minions. Maybe there's some minions in there.
Yeah, maybe throw some minions.
Yeah, Michelle Minks and the minions. Right in the eye of a needle or something. I think that would be awesome.
But wait, one more thing, right? Did the man say the Queen of England wrote him a couple of letters?
3.
Wrote him 3 letters, and she commissioned him to do the crown. So he did the Victorian crown for the Queen of England, and that's a pretty good accolade. The Queen of England doesn't know the PodBrother at all.
Right, she don't know you for nothing.
No.
She do not know you.
But you know what? I got a feeling that if I stay tight with Willard Wiggins, he might work out a brief opportunity where I can at least see the Queen from the parking lot.
Right, you know what I'm saying? And she might not write you nothing, but she maybe should hit you with a spitball or something.
She might point in the direction where my car is parked on the other side of the wall, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah, and telling you to get off property, because them dudes that be standing there and don't move and stuff, they're going to start moving towards you. That's when you better run, because them dudes don't move. You know what I'm talking about? Guards.
Man, I'd be totally happy they'd be like, come on, move on, piss off. And I'd be like, no, I'm waiting for the Queen to point my direction, man. I came all the way from America. Because Willard was going to hook me up with at least having the Queen do a wave in my direction.
Yeah, just a wave, you know what I'm saying? And the president, the royal wave, It's
the royal wave, yes. With the closed fingers and the cup
you
palm.
Over there, go away, PodBrother.
That would be funny. That would be funny having the Queen say the PodBrother. You know what? Just to have the Queen say PodBrother, I'm happy with that.
What if she knighted you? And I dubbed thee the PodBrother,
Sir PodBrother. I would be I'd be so jazzed. I could pack it up and call it a day after that.
Right, you know what I'm saying? And then if he makes her something, how do you hand that to somebody? Here, I done made you. How they know it's real? And so I'm gonna get the money first, right? Here, I made this for you, so need that $1 million, and they hand it to you, right? Okay. When they get home to the microscope, it's just it's nothing. Some balled up lint.
If I get this split screen on.
Might have accidentally inhaled it on the way home.
Yeah, you accidentally inhaled it and stuff, you know what I'm saying? You give it to him, then you punch him in the face and shit. You know what I'm saying? They didn't inhale it, man. Well, I made that. Hold on, give me my $1 million. You know what I'm saying?
$1 million, because that's how I got down. Yeah. That would be funny, man.
Yeah, man. And then he's making the watches, man. We got to get him back, man.
We you didn't even heard the watch story yet, man. The watch story is, and we have video of that too. That's also on YouTube, so we can snatch that. But basically, you have the watch, right?
Right.
So let's pretend, the zombie blast is the watch. Okay. So you look in like the dial of the watch that you turn. There's like a microscopic lens in there, and you can see his sculpture inside the watch, kind of going around.
Right.
And then you can look at the face and see the time.
But how much the watch worth? How much watch?
Well, if you got a cool $1 million, you might be able to get you one of these watches, but you're going to be put on the waiting list. Don't think you get special privies, because it takes about 6 months to do all the sculptures for one watch. Allegedly is what I understand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dedication.
That's some serious dedication.
Man, I want to salute that brother, man. Really, you know what I'm saying? Just somebody coming from bullying and all that other stuff. You know how people probably try to get over on him, knowing that the brother, he don't read, or write, you know what I'm saying? And he's still like, through all of that, like he said, you can't curse God's blessing, he did that.
Yeah, I mean, he's an amazing individual. That's all I can say. What can I say?
Is there any more things on the YouTube? I think there might be some more comments.
I don't know. Do we have the
I think
YouTube comment?
Yeah, there might be some people trying to talk to the PodBrother. Maybe we may answer some questions. People might have questions for the PodBrother and Michelle Minks.
And we'll have to do that next time. We're well over an hour.
Oh my God.
And how time flies. Well, we started at 6:06 and it's now 7:13. So I think just to keep it from going too long, we're going to cut this one, and we'll come back with some more ideas, some music, some just whatever. Maybe some more biokini.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get some biokini.
I could come up with some kind of biokini chemistry 101 course or something.
There you go.
Yeah. And then we might even have a few more guests. I know we have a couple of people that were calling in on my phone that wanted to go in that I didn't get a chance to get them on because we were talking to Willard. But why don't we just wrap this one up, and we'll come back and we'll do it again. We can even do another one later tonight if you want to.
And we can do that. I think we might have to do that.
We
might have to. I'm not gonna make no promises though.
You know what? Why don't we do this? Why don't we take a little break, and let this percolate for a second, and then we'll come back later this evening and we'll do another one. How's that sound?
Man. Sounds good.
That's like PodBrother action right there. PodBrother Nation.
All right. Well, this is the PodBrother, and we are here in Vegas at the Michelle Minks Minion Cave, Love Cave, and we're gonna be back after we get some. We're gonna have some pirate booty. We're going to have maybe break a little bread. Maybe we get a little drink of water, rest the voice, pull up a few more videos and some pictures and more pictures of Michelle because she's like so hot. So we will be right back. Michelle, before we go, where can we get you on the web?
MichelleMinks.com. And also my Facebook page. It's just Michelle Minks. Instagram, Twitter. It's all Michelle Minks. It's easy.
Awesome.
Yeah, Michelle Minks.
All right. Well, we will be back. It's the PodBrother. Peace out.